Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chase. So today we will cover Bitcoin, Ethereum. We will have a chat as usual. Today's topic, we're going to talk about basically, haters, building confidence, believing in yourself, things of that nature. We're going to get into all that. We'll go, from real life stuff to trading, and how it all sort of relates, connects together, and how I think people can move, towards a more confident state in themselves. Okay. As always, big shout out to Prime XBT for sponsoring these videos. Check out the links at the bottom right there. You sign up, you get a 50% deposit bonus on your Bitcoin. All right, let's get into it. So first we're going to cover the current thoughts, and then we're going to go over those 4 scenarios that I spoke about. All right, so here's what we're currently looking at. We had this chop just going on for a while now. Personally, I don't find this move to be much of a big deal. I'll explain, right? Obviously we had, how do we get here, right? First off, how did we get the level? We had our range high, we had our range low put in, okay? And that's been sort of relevant throughout. You break through, look when it comes down, gets supported, then it gets rejected off of it. Respect here, respect to the low, respect to the low, once again, respect to the low. Although you do get a bit of a fake out on this low, but this is not what I was talking about in terms of like the scam or the fake out and the 4 scenarios. We'll talk about that after we talk about this recent development. But yeah, this is pretty much what I'm looking for. We're on the daily here, and we can see support, flips to resistance, breaks down. A little bit of a scam move right here, in my opinion, for a lack of a better word. If you shorted this, I'll explain why you shouldn't have. I'll just get rid of all this out of the way real quick. Okay, this is a prime bait situation, right? Let me show you. All wicks, right? So wicks, wick, and then you're like, okay, support has broken. But the thing is, this was such obvious bait to me. What you wanted to do if you were going to short this is you wanted to wait for the breakdown. Okay, so you got the breakdown, you got the consolidation. Then you wanted to see a break below these lows right here, and then you would have got in stops above here or here, okay, targeting, pretty much this green area down here, okay? But you don't want to get trapped in situations like this where it's so obvious that there's a break of support, but it's consolidating so strongly here, and then you just get this reversal squeeze. Whether this was a bit of a tweet thing or what, that's up for discussion. But I think what happens here is you get a ton of people saying, hey, look, support has broken. A bunch of people pile into shorts here, and then look, you get a big squeeze, and all the shorts from in here basically get demolished, and you also take out these highs at the same time. So yeah, what you wanted to look for here, if you were going to short this, is you wanted to look for a break of this level, right? And then when this gets retested as resistance, then you pretty much know it's going downwards. It's the same on the upside, right? So if you break out towards if you have a resistance level, okay? Say you have a resistance level, and how do you know, if you follow SZ, how do you know if it's a deviation or not, right? He loves to draw the deviations. If you come up and you pump and you're finally breaking resistance, right? All these times you're going for it, you never break above. Okay, now you're breaking above, you're grinding above. It could be a deviation, right? So you don't want to long immediately. What you want to do is you want to long if it breaks through that current consolidative resistance. Just like you would short if it broke down through this consolidative resistance and flipped it to, or this consolidative support right here and flipped it to resistance. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and that's a bit of help as to why you shouldn't have shorted that area. All right, now let's go back to where we were. Okay, so optimal situation, right? And when I say optimal situation, hold on one second. When I say optimal situation and I draw these squigglies and whatnot, the squigglies aren't for clout, okay? Maybe they're for clout for some people, but for me, it's telling me I'm in sync with the market. That's what I draw the squigglies for. I want to see, hey, do I have an accurate read on this price action? If you followed me, in the past when we used to do a lot more active trading, back when the market was more volatile, not necessarily even in here, but just from other various times, sometimes you've seen me on, lower time frames, 30-minute, 1 hour, and drawing just these crazy squigglies that are trying to predict like all these different things. Well, and sometimes you've seen them hit, and that's when we're typically, winning trades, multiple trades in a row, and it's just about being in sync with the market. So it's not about saying, oh, I want this to happen or anything like that. It's a matter of being prepared and having a plan and being in sync. Because if you have a plan and you believe you're in sync and the trade presents itself, that's probably going to be a high percentage chance that you're going to have a winning trade. Okay, so I'm looking to most likely layer buys in this area. Stop is probably, you can either do a stop rate on this wick, right? So you don't get stopped out. We've talked about that. I meant so you don't get slipped, right? We've talked about that, like basically right on the wick. Or you can go with a manual stop. Obviously, you'd have to be attentive to the computer, though, have alert system and whatnot. But your manual stop would be, once again, if you broke down below that consolidation, it flipped to resistance, then you're looking to get out. And in that case, you're getting, oops, wrong tool. If you get an average entry somewhere around the middle, right? We know we like to aim for 2 to 3 risk reward, okay? And in this one, you'd be getting, a 5 risk reward. If you're playing it more conservative, right, to only hit the top, then you're looking at a 3 risk reward. So either way is great. If you're playing it greedy, you can go for a higher risk reward, but hey, you might get front run if this happens to come down and just bounce right off the very top of the block, the demand block, right? And then you get 3 risk reward. But if you're playing it greedy and you think it's going to push all the way into here to test this previous demand area fully, then you can be looking at anywhere between a 4 and a 5 risk reward. And that's a pretty good trade. So that'd be something I'd be looking for. And then if you flip this resistance right here that you're seeing, we can see resistance, right? If you go down to a lower time frame, you can see rejection, rejection. It was support, support, rejection, rejection, rejection. Okay? If it flips this area, that may be an opportunity to add, right? So if we hit this, we come up, we flip this area to support, and then that may be a situation where you could add right there, and you're targeting this liquidity area right here. Should be a nice wick above there and come right back down below and probably get rejected from there. Okay, that's what I would be watching for as my current thoughts, okay? And I think we're going to skip ETH this week. Honestly, I just don't have a great read on it. And I think Bitcoin's sort of leading the market anyway, right? You're seeing that alt sort of popped a little bit after BTC, ETH sort of at the same time. But ultimately, it looks like BTC is sort of leading here. And, for the most part, ETH is not changed much, right? We're in weekly demand. I'm looking to buy around 1,300-ish or so. If we swipe all these lows, eventually hit that. Outside of that, you have obvious resistance levels at around 3K, anywhere between, we could see this obvious big volume move down here, right? So right in here is all your resistance. If we happen to somehow, you have a little bit of a break of a downtrend here. Actually, no, you don't. My eyes were off. So yeah, if you happen to break this downtrend and, maybe you could play a retest of this level and hope that it goes for liquidity and whatnot, maybe even goes for resistance. But if it does, I'm selling this area anyway. Talked about this many times. First test of an untested resistance or support is a buy or a sell. It's as simple as that. This resistance area has not been tested yet, so if we come up to here, I'm certainly respecting a rejection, at least on the first attempt at it. Watch my previous week's video if you want to hear more about ETH. It's all the same stuff. I don't want to just repeat myself every single week in terms of this stuff. Just because, and it's not because I don't want to be helpful, but it's because the people who actively watch my videos probably don't want to hear the same shit every single week. Okay, let's get into the 4 scenarios. Okay. So we call this one the scam. We take the liquidity, right? If we take the liquidity, okay, I'll try to just sort of draw this out on each one. If we take the liquidity, right? Let's just delete all this for now. If you take the liquidity and it closes below, okay, then you can get a short going, stop above the high, and you could target this demand and you could target down here. You get some really strong risk reward, okay. in terms of the mentality behind these moves, you know, I like to think in that way too. I mean, this is really just a stop run on liquidity. There's probably a lot of stops here, and then another test of this level. How many times can this level be tested? You know, we've talked about it. All the tests over here, all the tests over here. Eventually, it's going to give way if it continues to be tested. Okay, that's the scam. Next is the fake out. Now, some would probably be thinking, oh, the fake out is sort of what we got just now. Maybe, but I personally don't see it that way. I don't think we dug deep enough to really bait tons of shorts. This sort of looks like a short-term move to me, and now we're going to see if we can rally off the demand again. But for the most part, you know, if we were to see what I called the fake out, I wanted to see, like, you know, dig into like high 26s maybe, right? And then consolidate in here, and then, you know, tons of people are shorting. Scam the low real quick, right? Scam the low real quick, reclaim. You'd even have a trade here right off of that, and then get rejected off here, you know, something, and then boom, all the way to liquidity. Okay, so that's sort of the that's the fake out and how I was watching that. So you have a possible trade there. You have a possible trade on the reclaim. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one's the easy trade. Like I was just saying with untested resistance, no different than untested demand, okay? So if we break down and we hit untested demand, this is a buy for me, targeting liquidity. Yeah, again, you can layer the area. This is something I've talked about in many videos. You could either layer the area or you could play the top of the area, okay? If you play the top of the area, you're obviously going to have a little bit worse risk reward, right? So say you were playing level to level, right? If you get a test to this level, we're looking to take, you know, strong amount of profits. Most likely, I'd say 60 to 70% profit at around 30K. So the top of the block here, this sort of demand level, whatever you want to say, you know, bit support and resistance. You know, I even tangle the words up, and it's ridiculous because it's all just really support and resistance, demand, supply, you know, order block, blah blah blah. Okay, so you leave a little bit of room on the stop, you get about a 2 risk reward. You know, maybe you go a little deeper, you get a 3. Okay, now if you're playing the center of the area, tighter stop, you know, you could get up to 5 or 6 risk reward. Really all a matter of, you know, what you're risking, how you want to play it. I'd probably, you know, be more of this type of person. You know, 4, 3, somewhere right around there looks good to me. Something like that. You always want a little bit of room on the stop because, you know, you don't want a situation where it comes down, it breaches support real quick, but nothing crazy, right? It's not like a breach of support like this, because that's just a different level now, right? We're talking about a different level. But if you happen to breach support a little bit just because of liquidation wicks, and then you reclaim, you could always wait for that as well. That's an opportunity. You long off that, stop below the liquidation wick, as I'd like to call it. I think the liquidation wick is underutilized. On any big down move, you usually have these just huge wicks, and you know, once that wick goes through and you get a retest, you usually have a good stop placement below that wick, because unless the market's truly weak, it's not going to go back down below that liquidation wick. Okay. So that's why it's the easy trade, because you're simply buying untested demand and you're targeting resistance and liquidity. Okay, and the gift. The gift, I call it the gift because I believe this is truly what everyone wants, even though everyone's saying, oh, max pain is up, max pain is up, but it's really not. Max pain is always down, because if crypto went to 0, that's obviously max pain, because then everyone loses all their value in crypto. Simple as that. But in terms of if this was to move upwards and flip this liquidity to support, I mean, I'd probably look to try to start longing, and, you know, possibly add on, you know, maybe you run liquidity here, and then, you know, you do this, and then you find a support level to rebuy, and, you know, back up again, stuff of that nature. But really, ultimately, I call it the easy trade because I don't think it's, or I call it the gift because I don't think it's going to happen. It doesn't make much sense to me that people would just be given this opportunity to get out around 50K when they had all this opportunity up in here and they didn't take it. Why are they going to give them a second chance? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think so. Okay, let's move on to the chatting portion. So today I want to talk about, let me go back to my previous view just so I have it. Okay. So today I want to talk about, you know, becoming more confident in yourself, you know, and, you know, as always, these sort of chat things are usually pretty heart to heart. None of this is premeditated or pre-thought out. I usually just try to think of a topic and then go from there, typically from my own, real life experiences. So talking about being more confident just in, real life in general, and also in trading and how it all connects. People hating and questioning, your abilities, your intelligence, anything of that nature, right? You can be questioned on so many things. But really the reality is, right, if we wanted to do a sort of TLDR, right, results, okay? Results and work ethic. If you know, I don't care if you got $200, if you know that you're working, and like you're putting in strong work and you're trying to learn to the best of your ability to become a better trader, know that $200 can be $50,000 or something at the end of the year if you're really putting in the effort, right? And as always, just because you put in effort doesn't guarantee success. I don't want to say that, but you should be confident in yourself, because confidence is going to help you achieve that success. You can't do well in trading without confidence. Some of my best win streaks have been when I'm literally just feel like I'm untouchable, and I'm posting charts and like people are cheering, like, oh my god, he posted another setup, like they don't actually say that, but that's sort of the vibe that it is. Like when I'm really in the zone sometimes and I've hit multiple winning trades in a row, especially publicly, like on crypto Twitter and whatnot, the vibe just gets crazy. So you have to be confident, and being confident, you get the hot hand. It's no different than playing sports or something, hitting multiple shots in a row. You got the hot hand. So it's all about confidence. And when it comes to people hating and questioning on you, you have to have you have to know who you are, rather than worrying about what they think about you, because what they think. We know that people are dog shit at all types of things they do. I go out and drive my car. People have no idea how to drive, and everyone thinks they're a good driver, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, you got people just who have absolutely no idea how to drive. And it goes the same for everything. You have people who are absolutely terrible at video games. You have people who just have terrible thought process, just in general, beliefs and whatnot. And I know this is sort of bland, but I'm trying to tie it together and just say that, the people that are hating on you, they may just not know shit. They may just, like, if you know who you are, then who gives a fuck what they think about you? And it literally, it's just constant. I mean, let me just pull up my notifications real quick. Oh, you already know you won't get that, don't you? I don't think we need another retest of the same. I don't give a fuck what these guys think. Like, cool, you don't think we get it? Maybe we don't get it. Maybe they're right. But it doesn't matter, especially when it comes to trading, because all that matters is that I'm prepared with my plan and my setup and my idea of the market. And if I'm not in sync and this goes up, I simply just don't take a trade. It's really not that hard. Maybe I could play a retest here, but if this just happens to go straight up and just starts pumping, well, shit, I just missed the move. But that's okay, because as much as people like to think crypto is just a simple get-rich thing, trading is definitely not. Now, you could come into the game if you were super lucky. If you came into the game on October of 2017 with, $1,000, yeah, you could have walked out of the bull run with $200,000, $300,000. You definitely could have. If you showed up at, the beginning of Uniswap season and really, put your head in the dirt and, just found as many gems as you possibly could, sure, you could have turned $500 into $100,000. But for the most part, those are anomalies. That's not what typical trading is going to be. So if you have that work ethic and, over the longer term, and you're doing proper risk management, etc., you're going to find your way. So again, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter. All that matters are your trade setups and your plans. And the same thing applies to real life. I don't care if it's your friend. You've been working hard at the gym or something, and your friend's calling you small. Like, the work that you've been putting in, and that's what's really important. So continue to put that work in, and that's how you're going to grow and gain confidence. I mean, for me, it's like, I mean, this was absurd the other day. How much hate I got, and it doesn't bother me, right? But look at this. Sorry you missed your chance. No need to be salty. What chance did I miss? I longed the whole entire bull run, and then I sold the top. So obviously James Martin here doesn't follow my content, or he's just got a pissy attitude, and he's taking his frustrations out on somebody else based off the insecurities of his own life. Now, let's not completely judge James Martin here just off one simple thing he said, okay? He could very well be a successful and kind individual. Maybe he was just having a bad day. So that's not a big deal. But the point is you're going to have a lot of people who are hating on you, and their words just shouldn't mean anything because you don't know what type of qualification do they have. Now, if you have a friend who's a great trader, and you know it for a fact, and they say something to you, now that's very different. You want to give your time of day to people who have proven themselves to you and have expressed interest in you. But for the people who are just stopping by and they just have an opinion out of nowhere, pay them no mind. It's just a waste of your time. And don't fight words with words. Fight words with work, because at the end of the day, results are more than everything, right? And not to get like materialistic here, but you're going to have a lot of people who doubt your profession or doubt what you're doing, and yet when the time comes around, when everyone's hanging out and they're trying to flex with a $900 a month car payment, and you're driving around in a C63 or something, an AMG, whatever you enjoy, right? McLaren, and that thing's fully paid off. Well, who's trolling who here, right? Because you can talk all the shit you want, but results are what mean everything. So don't let the short-term words distract you. Especially, don't let them distract you from your mission. Stay on your mission, keep working hard, and focus on self. Because if you're focusing on self and you're putting effort into yourself and you're not letting anyone distract you, that's going to be the road to success. And on the road to success, and when you start to realize success, you're going to develop confidence quickly. It's all going to snowball together, and that's it. Fuck everybody else. You're the one doing it. And when you get there, it's going to feel great. I definitely can't say I'm fully there yet, but I've been working hard at this for multiple years now, and just to see all the hate that I still get when all I do is try to provide quality, realistic content, should just show you that people are ignorant and they're foolish, and you should not let them deter you from anything. And it doesn't matter if it's trading, it doesn't matter if it's like I was just saying, working out. Someone thinks you're stupid. You didn't go to college or something, so they think you're not intelligent. Don't let any of this shit hold you back. Just focus on you and keep grinding. And at the end, you're going to have those results to show for it. And all that matters is results. You can have as much shit as you want. If you ain't, you could think the world of yourself, but if you don't have any results, or these people who think the world of themselves but they don't have any results, what is it? It means nothing. So you got to have results. Work hard, focus on self, results. That's it. All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll talk to you next week. Peace out.